Have you ever been right on the edge of sleep when it feels like the system just crashes, a total fragmentation of reality happening inside your own head? It's this incredibly strange, startling experience that a lot of us have had, but very few can actually explain. So in this explainer, we are going to decode that midnight glitch. Okay, so picture this. The city's humming outside your window. The long day is finally over, and your mind is starting to power down. You're in that perfect, quiet space, right between being awake and dreaming, just kind of floating in the dark. But then, something feels a little off, right? That smooth transition into sleep just hits a snag. It feels like a skipped frame in a movie, or maybe like a moment of digital static right in your consciousness. The quiet hum in your mind starts to feel corrupted. And that's when it hits you. A massive, deafening noise, like a gunshot, a door slamming, a sonic boom, and it seems like it's coming from the very center of your brain. You jolt awake, your heart is pounding, but the room is completely silent. Nothing happened. Or did it? Well, that absolutely terrifying experience has an equally alarming name: exploding head syndrome. I know, it sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi horror flick, but it's a very real and, believe it or not, a surprisingly common thing. So, what is actually going on inside your head?
So EHS is technically what's called a parasomnia. That's just a category of sleep disorders that involve unusual experiences while you're sleeping. It's not a real sound from the outside world, it's an auditory hallucination, a phantom signal that's being generated by your own brain.
Now, before you start to panic, let's get one thing crystal clear. Despite the terrifying name and the startling experience, experts all agree that exploding head syndrome is harmless. It is not a symptom of a stroke or a seizure, and it causes absolutely no physical pain. You know, the sheer variety of sounds people report is pretty fascinating. It's not always a literal bang. Some people hear crashing waves. Others hear this intense electrical buzzing, or even loud metallic clangs. It's a very personal sensory glitch.
So what causes this internal sound blast? Well, the leading theory is that it's a kind of neurological misfire. The best way to think about it is to imagine your brain as this super complex biological computer that, just like any computer, can sometimes lag, freeze, or, well, glitch.
Yeah, imagine shutting down your laptop. Usually it closes all the programs in a nice, orderly fashion. But what if it just tried to close everything all at once? That's pretty much the core idea behind what researchers think is happening with EHS.
So, on the left here, you see a normal shutdown sequence. Your brain's reticular activating system, it just powers down different areas in order. But during an EHS misfire, there's a delay. A tiny glitch where, instead of a smooth shutdown, a whole bunch of your auditory neurons just fire simultaneously. And the results? A perceived explosion of sound.
And hey, this isn't just a theory. Researchers have actually captured what might be its neurological fingerprint. This EEG, which measures brain waves, shows this really unique pattern in patients with EHS. It's called alpha coactivation, and it happens right during those sleep transitions. It's like an electrical signature for the glitch that you just don't see in other people. Now, if you've experienced this, you might feel like you're totally alone. But this neurological phenomenon is way more common than most people realize. In fact, it's been hiding in plain sight for a long, long time.
Just get a load of that number. At least 1 in 10 people will experience this. That's a huge chunk of the population. So this isn't some super rare disorder. It's a common, if a little unsettling, feature of our neurology.
And if you look at certain groups, the numbers are even higher. One major study found that a staggering 18% of college students had experienced it. Now that suggests a pretty strong connection to things like stress and sleep deprivation, which we're going to look at right now. So what makes the system more likely to glitch out? Well, the triggers are often things that put a strain on your neurological operating system. High levels of stress and anxiety, not getting enough sleep, or just having a really chaotic sleep schedule. All of those things can increase the chances of an episode. Okay, this all sounds pretty intense, I know. But the good news is that, for most people, managing EHS doesn't require any complex medical stuff. It's really more about making small adjustments to your sleep habits and your stress levels. Think of it as a kind of gentle system reboot.
Honestly, the single most effective treatment for the distress EHS causes is simply understanding what it is. Just knowing that it's a recognized, harmless phenomenon, it completely demystifies the experience. It strips away all that fear that usually comes along with it.
And if you want to be proactive, here are a few simple steps for that system reboot.
First, improve your sleep hygiene. Try to stick to a consistent sleep schedule. Second, manage your stress. Techniques like meditation can really help. Third, optimize your sleep environment. And finally, reduce stimulants like caffeine and screen time right before bed. These basic maintenance steps can make a huge difference.
So at the end of the day, exploding head syndrome is a fascinating little reminder of just how complex the process of shutting down our consciousness really is. It's a ghost in the machine, a startling but totally harmless bug in our neural code. So the next time you experience that midnight glitch, you'll know exactly what it is. The real question is, what other secrets are hiding in that space between being awake and being asleep?